Today I'm going to show you how to make some 1/12 scale top hats. The first step is to take some clear plastic wrap and wrap it around your figure's head. And then using a small rubber band, secure the plastic wrap around the neck. Then we're going to take a thin strip of paper, apply some Mod Podge or other glue of your choice, and we're going to apply it to the figure just above the eyebrows where you would want the hat to sit. And I'm going to go ahead and glue it all the way around the figure's head. What we're doing here is making a pattern for the hat. Now we just need to wait for this to dry. And these hats will not only fit Marvel Legends figures like the Iron Man I have in front of me, but they also look cute on other toys such as Calico Critters and little Woodzeez. After the glue has time to dry, you just take off the rubber band and the clear plastic wrap and pull off that paper strip. Next, I'm going to trace that oval on a piece of scrap paper. And since I traced the outside of the oval, when I cut out this oval, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller than my lines. Next, you want to test your oval to make sure it still fits on your figure's head and make some adjustments. Now this one, I'm going to need to make a little wider on the sides. And just keep making small little adjustments until it fits snugly on your figure's head. I think that's a pretty good fit. Alright, now we have a piece of paper with a hole in it. Doesn't look like a hat yet, does it? And what we're going to do next is make the brim of the hat. And that's this part right here. I made mine 7mm wide, but you can change that if you like on yours. So for this particular pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and use that same measurement and use my ruler and mark off 7mm all the way along the edge of this oval. And then I'm just going to combine all those marks and draw a larger oval to connect them all. Cut out the larger oval from the paper, and this will be our pattern. I made my hats out of black felt, so I'm just going to take this pattern here, this paper pattern, and I'm going to pin it directly to the felt. And with the paper pattern held in place, I can now cut around my oval. And before I remove the pins, I'm going to cut out the interior of the oval as well. I do that by just folding the whole pattern in half and snipping it with my scissors to make room to get my scissors inside there. And before we go any further, we want to test this oval on the figure's head again to make sure it'll fit. You can kind of see where it might be a little too tight, so you can make little adjustments with your scissors to get it just to fit a little bit better. Next, we need to make the side of the hat, which is this part right here. So I'm going to take my black felt. It's going to measure 8 centimeters wide and 1.3 centimeters tall. I cut out the felt. Next, I'm going to start assembling the hat, and I'm going to do that by putting a ring of hot glue along this inner ring of the brim of the hat. And as soon as I put that glue down, I'm going to quickly put the sides of the hat on top of that glue. The only thing you need to be careful with is making sure that your glue isn't showing on this side when you attach the side of the hat to the brim. And while I'm working on this step, I have some viewer photos to share from individuals who gave some of my previous projects a try. First up is Art King 3000, who has a channel here on YouTube as well, and he made the glasses project for his super cute Stan Lee custom. Then Rocco Presolini from Instagram made the firewall. Also from Instagram is the Iron Man repulsor beam by Agara Taiwari. Awesome work, everyone, and thank you for sharing your photos. If you decide to try any of my projects, I'd love to share your photos too. Just give me a link in the comments down below or send them to me on social media. Just remember to say that I have your permission to share them. Now you can see I have some material left over, and I'm just going to put a line of hot glue along the inner flap of the side of the hat and overlap the other side. Then once that side has dried, you can take your scissors and trim it off close to the glue. And if it sticks up a little bit in any spots, you could put just a little dab of glue to secure it down. Now to make this top portion of the hat, I find it's easiest if we take a scrap of paper, we set the hat upside down on it, trace around the top of the hat with the pencil. Cut out that pattern and test it to see how it fits inside the hat. Okay, this one's a little long, so I'm just going to trim off a little bit from one of the sides. And just keep doing that until it fits snugly inside the interior of the hat. Okay, that one's pretty close, so I'm going to take the pattern and I'm going to pin it to my fabric and cut around it just like we did before. And before we glue this in place, we just want to do one more check to make sure that the top of the hat fits inside the sides of the hat. You could also glue it so that the top rests on top of the sides. I think it looks a little better with it just nesting inside of the edge of the sides though. Now we're ready to start gluing. We're going to take this slowly though. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the interior of the side of the hat. And I'm going to kind of slip in the top of the hat. You don't want to use too hot of a glue gun with this step, because your fingers are going to be really close to that glue. And I'm just going to put another line of glue in there and slowly attach the next step. This is probably the trickiest part of this project. Just being careful to make sure that you're not having any glue seep out from the sides there. As long as we work slow and give it a little time to set before we move on to the next part, we should be okay. And if you do have any glue showing, you can just kind of trim it off with your scissors to neaten it up again. And there's the completed hat. And you can even cut a small strip of fabric if you like, to make a little ribbon to put along the brim. That's it for now, but you can find even more projects in my Crafting for Action Figures and Other Toys playlist. Oh, and I have a website now too, at zubbiecreations.com. And there you can find some exclusive content. Thanks for watching.